Yes, ladies and gentlemen, how are we all doing? I hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome back to my official YouTube channel. I just want to start off by saying a massive thank you to those of you that have come over and subscribed in the last 12 or so hours. The comments that I've had from some people have been absolutely amazing, and it's really made me want to push on and motivate me to make some great content for you guys and bring you guys some good videos. So yeah, I really appreciate all of that, and yeah, like I said, thank you guys for joining me and coming back to the channel. So essentially today what I've got for you is a Euro 2020 prediction video. So I've managed to find a website which is going to allow me to predict every single stage of the European Championships that are starting next week. So I'm able to predict where I think each country are going to finish in their group, who's going to win the potential knockout games, and who's going to win the overall tournament. So it's going to be a heap of fun. It's going to be really interesting to see what I think is going to happen in the tournament, but I'm also interested in what you guys think, so do make sure that you leave a like on the video, leave a comment, tell me what you think is going to happen during this tournament this summer, who's going to win, how far do you think England are going to get, and yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun, so let's get straight into it. So, the way this is going to work is essentially, I am on a website, it's called GamingUEFA.com, and as you guys can see on the screen, I can predict every single sort of result of the Euro 2020 competition. So, as you can see here, I've got all 6 groups, and it actually allows me to predict where every single team are going to finish in their group, and at the bottom here it also is going to allow me to predict the 4 best third place teams, because the 4 best third place teams go through in this tournament to the knockout stages as well. So, Group A. 4 teams in it: Switzerland, Turkey, Wales and Italy. So it's actually a really tough group to start off with, actually, because there are some fantastic squads in there. I think Italy over the last sort of 3 or 4 years haven't actually been as strong as what they maybe should have been, but they're sort of starting to come back into the frame now. They've got a few players sort of starting to shine for them a little bit, so that's going to be one to watch, I think, with that Italian team. Wales, of course, we know what they're about at this point. I remember in Euro 2016 the chaos that they nearly caused us, so you know, luckily Daniel Sturridge was able to step up, but yeah, that was nearly a madness. So yeah, Gareth Bale, you know, Spurs boy, Joe Rodon as well, both in there, both going to be playing and starting for Wales, so they're going to be another team to watch out for. Turkey got some fantastic players, actually. They got Yilmaz up top, they got Selik, a right back as well, so they're actually going to be a dark horse. I think they're going to be a team to watch in this tournament. And then Switzerland, yeah, I don't really know too much about Switzerland. You know, you got like Sommer in goal, obviously Granit Xhaka as well, who's sort of going to be their main man in midfield. So it's a really difficult group to predict. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm actually going to say that I think Turkey are going to top that group. I'm telling you now, Turkey are going to be a dark horse in this tournament. Just you wait. Now, I also then think Italy are going to be our second place team here. I do think they have got the experience and the know-how as to be able to get their way through the group stage at least. People like Donnarumma in goal is going to be fantastic for them, and then you've obviously got the standard guys at the back still in terms of people like Chiellini and others as well. So I think they're going to be there. I do think Wales are going to come third in this group, so I do think that it is going to be tight. As I mentioned before, it's going to be a really tough group and a tough one for Wales to try and get through, but I do think they're going to get into that third spot, and I do think that they will be one of these teams here that will go through, and then I do think Switzerland are going to come last in that group, just purely for the fact that I don't think their squad is strong enough to compete with the other 3, so I don't really think there's too much argument to have there. So we're going to move straight on to Group B now, and we've got Russia, Belgium, Denmark and Finland. Another tricky group to predict. I think the safe option, of course, is to put Belgium to top that group. You know, the powerhouses, Romelu Lukaku, Kevin De Bruyne feels that I think he's going to miss the first game because of that nose injury that he got from Rudiger in the Champions League final, but I think he'll be back after that. But yeah, again, more than enough quality for them to be winning that group easily. Second place, I'm going to have to go with Denmark. I'm gonna have to go with Denmark. I'm gonna have to back my boy Christian Eriksen, and the Danes. You know, I think they've got a fantastic squad. Again, it's similar to Turkey. I think they go under the radar a little bit, and they do get a little bit underrated at times. So I definitely think they're gonna come second in that group. I'm then gonna go Russia, I think, for third place, only purely because I just don't really think Finland have got much in the locker, but then again Russia don't have much in the locker as well, so I do think it's a little bit of a shootout between those two for third and fourth spot. But that's going to be my prediction for Group B. Belgium and Denmark are going to comfortably get through that one without too many problems. Now we have now got Austria, Macedonia, Ukraine and the Netherlands in Group C. Now obviously Austria we watched, or those of you that did watch the England friendly the other day, they didn't look too threatening, but they have got some fantastic players, people like Sabitzer, Hinteregger as well. There's some really good players. David Alaba, of course, fantastic to watch as well, so they're going to be ones to look out for. I am going to go though for Holland, for the Netherlands to top that group. As annoyed as I am that people like Stevie Bergwijn aren't included in the squad, people like Memphis Depay, people like Donny van de Beek, they're excellent players as well, and they're gonna easily top that group there. And then I think it's pretty self-explanatory from there. Austria are going to come in second. I do think that they do have more than what they showed against us the other day, and then I do think it will be Ukraine and then Macedonia as well to finish that group off. So we're halfway through the group stages. So far my automatically qualified teams are Turkey, Italy, Belgium, Denmark, the Netherlands and Austria. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know who you think in those groups will go through in the comments. I'd love to hear some ideas from you guys, and I'll be sure to reply to each and every single one of you if you do get involved in the comments. Now, Group D, the big one for maybe most of the people watching in terms of England's group. So we've got Scotland, England, Croatia and the Czech Republic. So this is a tough one indeed. Now, I actually know that for a fact if we win that group, we have to play the runners-up of Group F, which will either be Portugal, France, Germany or Hungary, and that is just crazy to think about. But if we finish second, we'll play the winner of Group E, which will be one of these four teams, so Poland, Espanyol, Sweden and Slovakia. So it's a really, really tricky situation that I don't think we'll purposely throw any of the games, but you know, you could almost fear that might happen. But yeah, listen, I'm actually gonna go for Croatia to top that group. I think there's going to be a bit of a repeat of the World Cup coming along at this point. I think I just worry for Gareth Southgate and his boys. I just don't think that they have that experience and know-how to win big games in tournaments. It's always been the case with England, and I don't think that that's going to change anytime soon. I do think Croatia will build on their World Cup final defeat, and I do think that we will could well lose to them in the first game. So I'm going to go for Croatia to top the group. I do think we'll qualify second quite comfortably. I do think we'll beat Scotland and Czech Republic quite comfortably as well. So that's my reasoning for the order in there. I do actually then think Scotland are going to come third. Some great players like Kieran Tierney, Andy Robertson, Scott McTominay, loads of fantastic players in that squad, so they're more than capable of getting into that third spot. And then the Czech Republic down in fourth. So 2 groups left. Group E, Poland, Spain, Sweden and Slovakia is a tough group to predict. I am going to chuck Spain straight in at the top there. I'm not really going for too many upsets, and I just don't think there will be. In terms of groups teams that go through, I think there are main contenders for each one if you go back and look at them, maybe apart from this group here. But I do actually think that Spain are going to top that group there quite comfortably. And then, see, if Ibrahimovic was fit for the Euros, I think I'd put Sweden in. But the fact that he's not, I'm going to go with Poland. And, you know, it's the Lewandowski factor. It is the Lewandowski, the Szczesny factor. I think that superstars in that team will carry them to second place there. And then I'm going to go with Sweden, and then I'm going to go with Slovakia for that one, just purely based on the thing that I think that Sweden's squad is a little bit stronger than Slovakia's. No major reasoning behind it, and I could well be wrong, but that's just what I think. So, possibly the hardest group to predict out of all of them, Group F. So we've got Portugal, we've got France, we've got Germany, and we have got Hungary. So, Obviously, it's going to be between these three teams as to who tops that group. Now, I'm actually going to say that Portugal are going to top that group. Okay, now hear me out. Cristiano Ronaldo, he's out for blood. Listen, he's getting on. He hasn't had the best season with Juventus. I do think that he is going to step up in this tournament. Also, some fantastic players. Diego Jota, I rate him. He is a mega player, and I think he's going to shine at this tournament. Bernardo Silva, loads of players. Renato Sanchez, there's some fantastic people in that Portugal squad, so I am actually going to put them at the top of that one. I am then going to go for France. It speaks for itself, doesn't it? France's squad: Mbappe, Griezmann, Pogba, Ousmane Dembele, just so many. Benzema, so many superstars. There's no way they're not going through. And then Germany. I think Germany are back on the rise, but I don't think they're quite going to get there in terms of being any better than Portugal and France. I do think they're going to be the third place team there. It'll be interesting to see what happens when Hansi Flick takes over after this tournament as well. And then I am, of course, going to go with Hungary for that fourth spot. So I need to pick 4 out of these 6 teams to go through into the knockout stages. So it is going to be the teams with the most points in their group. So I did mention earlier, I think Scotland, Wales and Germany are all going to go through in that third place position. So it'll be a good sweep for the United Kingdom to come through. I do also think that it will be... it's a tough one to pick out of those guys. I am going to go with Sweden. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't actually have a particular reason. It's a bit of a guess. I'm not too knowledgeable on any of the 3 squads. But I do think that out of those guys, I'm going to go with Sweden for it. So Wales, Scotland, Sweden and Germany to go through in third place. And we have our knockout stages. We've got Turkey, Italy, Belgium, Denmark, Holland, Austria, Portugal, France, Spain, Poland, Croatia, England, Wales, Scotland, Sweden and Germany. So that is the group stages complete. Now let's get on to the knockout stages. Okay, so it is a new day, hence the change of clothes. But as I mentioned, we are going to go on to do our predictions for the knockout stages of the Euro 2020 tournament. I'm going to whiz through these really quickly and sort of get to the latter stages because that's where the interesting stuff's going to come in. So we'll go through the first games in the round of 16. First one up is Belgium versus Sweden. I don't think there's any arguments that Belgium are not going to win that game. I think their squad is way stronger than Sweden, and barring a massive upset, Belgium are going to see that one through quite comfortably. I do think, as I mentioned earlier, that Turkey are dark horses, so I am actually going to put them to beat Austria. Based off what I saw of Austria the other day against England, I think that they're okay, but as I mentioned, I think Turkey have got a brilliant squad for this tournament, and they're going to go a little bit further than Austria in this case. Portugal versus Wales after that. I am going to go with Portugal, who will be the favourites in that game. I do think Wales have a great squad and they always have a chance, but they're never really going to be good enough to sort of go all the way and sort of maybe win when it matters. So I do think Portugal are going to be your winners for that first game there. England versus Poland. I think England's squad will be stronger than Poland's, and barring a Lewandowski masterclass, I do think that England will see that one through, although we do always make hard work of it, so, you know, never say never. Spain versus Scotland then is a tough game, and I'm really tempted to put Scotland through on that one, purely because I just don't think Spain have got their mojo fully back yet. It's similar to Italy in that situation, but I don't think I can't put Spain through there. I just think the only way Scotland will win that game is through momentum and maybe for a little bit of luck, but if I had to back one, I would definitely be backing Spain in that game. Croatia v France, a repeat of the World Cup final. I am going to go for France. I do think that they will be still riding that high. They've got a point to prove in terms of they want to win the Euro and the World Cup double, so I'll put them in. Netherlands versus Germany is another tough one, and I am going to go for the Netherlands just because I don't think Germany...
I don't know, it's a really tight one, but I do think that the Netherlands have got a really good style of play, and they do have some fantastic players in that squad, and I just don't see Germany really clicking as well as maybe they should do. So yeah, I am going to go for the Netherlands in that one, but it is a 50-50 call. And then I'm actually going to put Denmark to beat Italy. It's similar to the Germany and the Spain situation. I just don't think they are the powerhouses that they used to be. So I do think Christian Eriksen's going to run the show for Denmark this season. You know, you've also got Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, obviously a few others in and around that squad as well. So it's going to be a really good squad at Denmark to try and propel them through the tournament. So if we go back up to the top, I do think that Belgium will defeat Turkey in the quarterfinals. I think that will be the end of the road for them. As I mentioned, great tournament for them. They're going to be dark horses, but Belgium, if they do come up against them, will have too much for them. And unfortunately, to the disappointment of many, I do think the quarterfinals, if that is the game that we play, is going to be where England crashes out. I do think Portugal know how to beat us. They have a really fantastic squad, some world-class players, and I just don't think England's squad is experienced enough to be able to win that type of game. So unfortunately for me, that is where England are going to crash out. Spain v France, I actually think is going to be a really, really good game. Lots of goals, but I do think France are going to edge that one. And then I do actually think Denmark are going to overcome the Netherlands in that quarter-final spot as well. So the two semi-final games we've got then, Belgium versus Portugal and France versus Denmark. So a couple of tasty ties in there. I do think that Belgium are going to go all the way this time. I know they've had a bit of a vendetta in the past and a bit of bad luck in major tournaments, but they are going to have a really good run this time around, and they are going to make it to the final of the European Championships. And in our second game, France will overcome Denmark, so I do think that we are going to have a powerhouse final between Belgium and between France, both going through in the semi-final. So the main factor then, the main decision, who is going to win the final between Belgium and France, and I could call it either way. Now, do I go with the majority and say France are going to come home and complete the double? I don't think they are. I'm going to go with Belgium, actually. I do think that Belgium are going to win this tournament. I think that they're finally going to be able to go that one step further. They're always top favourites, or one of the top favourites to win the tournaments. They never can actually go that sort of extra step to see it through. But I do think this is going to be the one for them. I think France are going to fall just short. And I do think that Belgium are going to come away victors of the Euro 2020 tournament.
So, there we have it, guys. My Euro 2020 predictions for this summer's tournament. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that Belgium are going to come away victors of this tournament? Do you think maybe France are going to edge it? Or do you think someone else may win it? Do you think England are going to go further than what I thought? Are there going to be any potential dark horses? It's going to be an interesting tournament, and anything can happen. So I'm really, really excited for it to start. And there's going to be some great games in there as well. As ever, guys, if you are new around here, do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be trying to bring you regular content daily, if not every other day. I'm going to do some gaming stuff, going to do some interviews, some talks with a few of my mates as well. So I'd really, really appreciate it if you fancy sticking around. Just hit that subscribe button, and yeah, it'd mean the world to me. But as ever, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like on the video, share it around with your mates, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.